being a teacher is a hard thing. You got to learn to be a teacher. I had to. I used to rant and rave initially and go nuts, but I learned that it doesn't work at all.
G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Level Up. We're back in the shed this afternoon, and I've got to say I'm actually a little bit nervous about this one. This young fella is absolutely smashing it, kicking goals, but I'm actually blown away by the diversity and the amount of different industries he's in, everything from building, technology, and as I've just found out, hospitality as well. So he's a national multi-award winning builder and has built some of Brisbane's most iconic homes in a very, very short period, and has definitely raised the bar for luxury living when it comes to high-end homes in Brisbane. So a massive welcome this afternoon to Brayden from Zephyr Industries. How are you, mate?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Mate, I'm stoked that you've come on this afternoon. We've only met a couple of times. I think once was at a Master Builders lunch, and we share a few mates that are doing some mini racing. So
yeah, I got hooked pretty quick, actually. Yeah, it's heaps of fun.
Mate, so tell us a little bit about, like, I take my hat off to you, mate. Like, you're only a young fella, and like seriously, the homes that you've built around Brisbane in the last 6-8 years?
Yeah, about 7 years.
Is just unbelievable. And I've watched you, and I've driven past some of them, and you don't pick the easiest sites.
No, there's no fun in that. No.
So one thing that's really that stood out for me, and I see a lot of people doing it now, is like you name them, like what is it, like Nor, Belvedere, Blanco?
I don't know. It was kind of because everything went a few years ago. The social media hype was so involved with it, and we used it to try and help sell our product. But naming it became quite relatable for people. It wasn't just the street. Like all the guys on the site, were like, oh, it's Prospect Terrace or Eldenell Terrace or something like that.
Yeah.
But everyone else is like, oh, how's Blanco going? So yeah, naming them gives a bit of gives a bit of reception for people to familiarise themselves with something that you create. So
do you come up with the names, or it's a team effort, or the architect?
My wife's actually picked most of them.
Yeah.
I said, what do you think this is? And she goes, okay, I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
I don't put too much thought into it, but
yeah,
it's kind of just each house you do is a little bit different. Some are quite similar depending on the block, but I always try and create something different on each one, and gets a different name, I suppose. So
yeah. So you're more a developer builder, aren't you? Like
Yep.
You acquire the land, you do the design, all the development approvals and everything, and
Yep.
then you build and then sell during the build or after the build.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so early on the piece, I did a few client builds, and I was a bit green to it and learnt the hard way. Just decided to knuckle down and do the full development route, and built a good crew early.
Yeah.
And just chipped away and slowly built up to, and all of a sudden we exploded, but there was a lot more behind the scenes that people hadn't seen, because we were a big crew. I was being pretty quiet before we really launched the first big one, and then just kind of went like with full bang.
Yeah, well, it was like you just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
But as we were just saying before we started recording, like it's not all roses. Like everyone only sees the pretty stuff on social media.
Yeah, and they see the pretty parts of it, and most of it's a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of stress. So we do a lot. Like I only did probably 2 to 3 homes a year at the same time. We're not out there doing 10, but we'd concentrate solely on them, because a lot of them are quite difficult builds, and got a good project management team, and they're on site every single day for 2 years on a house, and watching everything.
Yeah.
Just to try and eliminate any problems, but
So for the listeners, like builders, mainly builders, but tradies and a lot of homeowners listening as well, like what got you, like how did you get to that point? Like for a young builder out there that's got all ambitions to do their own developments or get into that more higher end market, like what were you doing for those years before it just took off?
Comes down to experience. So my old man's a builder developer, has been for 30 years. So I did my apprenticeship with him, and I did my apprenticeship doing 40 packs, 60 packs, 160 packs of units. And so that was how I knew. So I went and did my first speccey and a mate came and helped me. I was at Taringa. I built the whole thing out of rice hacking for suspended slabs, and the top was all raked timber frames. He had to teach me how to frame it. I had no idea how to do it. I could frame a normal wall, but like full raked frame over 2 levels. It was pretty funny. I taught him how to do all the formwork and concrete, and he taught me how to timber frame. But yeah, so having the commercial background, and then I've just implemented that onto some difficult sites throughout Brisbane. Like most people, start framing timber houses and basic stuff, or I kind of did the other way around. So yeah, I was working for my old man, and then I went traveling for a few years, come back and traveled, and then I started supervising for him, and yeah, just decided to go out and do my own thing, and bought a block of dirt and built a house, lived in it, sold it, did another one, and then just, it was hard because I was on the tools. I'd drive the excavators and everything myself as well, all the groundworks, and yeah, just before it all popped on the scene, we'd done a whole bunch of houses and renos and that prior to that, and moved house 30 times or whatever it was. So.
Yeah, because I think it's good to talk about this sort of stuff because, people do just see the end result, and they don't see all the hard yards that are gone into getting from where you were to where you are now.
Yeah. One thing I did do that I did learn from previous builders that I had been working with was a lot of people... It's so hard to find, like you'd be the exact same, finding that right project manager to give you a hand to, that you can trust. Like no one's perfect. Everyone's always got a few things, that like I said, no one's perfect, but you find the right person, you put the time and effort into them, which I did with project manager Richard, and he's still with me today, and he's been the main driving force of a lot of my projects. So the first few that we did, I could have easily been in there and run it myself, but I stood back, cost me more money, let him do it because I knew, and then that gave me time to work on the business, not in it, and that gave me that. I went and found heaps of funding and all this other stuff, and then when we're ready to go, it was like bang, let's go. We did those 3 or 4 massive projects back to back.
Well, that's another massive gold nugget as well. Like so many people just get caught, and I did for 10, 12 years. Like you get caught in that trap of just head down, bum up, no time.
And the hardest part is trying to find that part of where you can let them do it and then step back and work on the business instead of
let go a bit.
Yeah, it's
and I think that's where the magic starts to happen. Like until you make that time to sit back and have a overall look at the business and see all the different stuff that goes on, it can be really hard to figure out why you're treading water. Yeah,
and why am I getting ahead? Why could do all these jobs and do another job just to keep the cash flow going, and it's hard.
Yeah, so I've definitely seen that though. So for all the people listening, that we'll throw some links up to Zephyr Industries. Like the homes you've done, mate, are amazing. Like massive pat on the back.
Yeah,
like,
cheers, appreciate it.
Like that, is it Noor, the big black one?
Yeah.
You don't see like generally residential construction, like that hole in the ground, and like you had all those massive big props and braces and stuff. Like that was incredible.
We cut 16 meters vertically out of a cliff on a 540 square meter site. It was actually one of the easier ones we've done.
So how did you get that experience? Like,
well, doing 160 pack of units. I'm digging a basement for 6 months, and the site's 100 meters long by 70 meters this way, and we dig the whole thing out 3 levels. And how do you learn how to pilot, set out? So like I was saying before, with my old man when I was young, he put me with his foreman. Well, two of them actually, but one of them he was extremely hard ass. And he still is. And, it was just do it or you're in trouble. So, but as far as he was concerned, there's 2 carpenters, him and Jesus. He still tells me that today. But what it did, he was an absolutely brilliant builder. He just taught me go, go, go. But to be extremely accurate and everything like that. So I did the set outs for all those for big unit complexes. You're up 13 levels high, 3 in the morning with a string line. And so we developed that bathroom pod system where you crane in. We did that 10 years ago, and we're actually making them ourselves. One job, we landed 450 prefabricated bathrooms and laundries. And so the stack is on top, so the waste pipe's above it. And you build a formwork around it, pour the slab. But if you get that pod, you got a 100 mil hole, and you got a 90 mil hole on the floor.
Yeah.
And you're up 13 stories. And you got 450 of them to line up. So you get pretty good at setting out.
Yeah.
And if they're wrong, it's pretty big consequences. So yeah, just getting taught from a young age from good people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but
do you ask lots of questions? Like even now, but when you're learning, like do you ask questions?
I tend to, my personality, I'm normally quite quiet. I'll sit back, assess a whole situation, think watch someone do something, watch another person do something, okay, how would I do it? and go try and figure out yourself or ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I normally learn.
Yeah. And, mate, I find it amazing. So again, like just before we started, we were talking about a few things, and like you actually said, like building wasn't really a passion until sort of in your late teens.
Yeah, no, like my parents thought it'd be the last thing I'd want to do, but I was at TAFE doing hospitality management after school. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I did enjoy it, but I was labouring for my dad a day a week, and I actually didn't mind it doing it. And then I got a bit older, and then I come home and I said I wouldn't mind doing an apprenticeship, and he dropped his fork and mum half spat her food out the dinner table and went, wait, what? Like, are you sure? And so they gave me a trial, and because the old boy knew how hard it was going to be for me being the boss's son on a big job site. So I was a bit naive at the time. I was like, oh yeah, should be all right. My mates are tradies, and yeah, once we got into the second and third years, it got pretty difficult.
Yeah.
But, just knuckle down and get on with it.
Yeah.
Prove them all wrong.
Sorry to interrupt, guys, but we've got to thank our sponsors, because without them, we can't keep delivering you this incredible podcast. So massive shout out to DPS Constructions, Quoties, Live Life Build, and 44 Gallon Films. Make sure you go and check those guys out, support them so that we can keep delivering you this incredible podcast. So what's been your driver then to do what you've done? Like, did you just see sort of a hole in the market that needed that extra level of luxury? Like, yeah,
I figured. So we did, I don't know, about 5 or 6 houses in. We did one in Paddington on 2th Ave, and it sold for 3.3 mil like the first day. As a speccey we did, just a Hamptonsy kind of new build. But it made me realise, hang on, and I looked at, like, there was no real new homes getting built for sale over 4, maybe 5 mil in Brizzy at all. And I'm like, yeah, there's a small buyer pool for that, but what's that person got to do? They're a time poor person. Would they want to go find a block of land? Like, we know how hard it is to find a block of land in Mascot and Hamilton, and let alone go do that, design it, develop it, get a builder. It's a 4 or 5 year process these days.
Yeah.
And so I figured surely there's a market for that, for someone, that would acquire something. We'll buy it. We launch most of our projects prior to we finish, so we can tailor build them to suit as we go. We didn't do that initially. We started doing it later. I got told by every agent, don't do it, and don't use architectural photos. You have to use like the real estate photos. So we did do a few things different at the start, just because other people weren't doing it. And just found that little niche in it. And then we did that Belvedere that kind of went a bit hard too early with Belvedere. And
so correct me if I'm wrong, but did you get talked into, or you bought a Lambo? And
I didn't get talked into. It was my idea.
Your idea?
Yeah, because another thing, I was researching like LA, these, the giga mansions over there. They come with the Bugatti and a Rolls Royce and this, and 5 maids or whatever they come with. I was like, yeah, cool, we could do something different. And then I remember walking into, I'm actually good friends with Anthony, the dealership manager there now. And I walked in there with a pair of steel cap Dunlop volleys on and half a ripped shorts. I was like, yeah, can I buy a car for you to, or can I sell a house with one of your cars? He's like, what? But he didn't, there's full respect to him. He took me seriously, and then he goes, yeah, you can, you got to buy it. And I was like, oh, okay. So I put a few other jobs on hold and literally bought a brand new Lamborghini to put in the house. And it didn't really work. But there was a few things it did, like the publicity was off the charts.
Yeah.
I didn't pay a cent on marketing, and I worked out we got close to 250 grand's worth of free marketing.
Yeah.
I ended up just selling the car for a little bit of a loss.
Yeah.
That was like my marketing budget anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously, people that can afford a house like that could easily afford that car, and it was like the cheapest Lamborghini you could get. So I was like, oh, well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it honestly, because I knew we had 3 to 4 of these bigger projects coming up, I was like, well, it put us on the map for good or for bad.
I definitely did that, and then that's the one that took out the national award.
It won best renovation in Australia.
Yeah,
at the Master Builder Awards.
Yeah, like when you see what it was to what you guys were able to do with it, but that was an enormous project, wasn't it? Like,
yes, 1,050 square meters house, 2 pools, 7-car basement, 3 levels, rooftop terrace with a spa. Like, it was pretty full on. It's a cool house.
Yeah. No, well, mate, I think it's amazing. But that's a big jump, like, to get into those sorts of dollars of jobs. So like you mentioned before, like, part of your role was finding funding and stuff. So like,
I think
how's all that side of it work?
I think that's the hardest part where people don't realise. They're like, well, how are you doing this? Like most other builders would say that to me. But it's like we've just been talking about. Like, I tend to hang out with older people more than people my own age. Like, pick people's brains, like successful people, things like that. And I'm actually good mates with a fair few people. And just came across a few private people. Use the banks as much as you can, and then you've obviously got to use a few different things. And like I mentioned, having a good supervisor, it'll freed up my time to find sites, get the funding sorted, and yeah, just gave them security over a project, and they had faith in what I was doing.
Yeah.
And just believed in it, and still do today. So
yeah, like the important part is like we've used some private funding over the years for some projects we've done, and I think it's people just getting out of their comfort zone a little bit, and because there's a big wide world out there. There's lots of different ways to make things happen, but you've obviously you've got to put in the time. You've got to have a good strategy. Like people aren't just going to throw money and funds at anything.
No, not at all. And it's hard because that first one, it was the market was the wrong timing. So this is one of the biggest things I did learn early on in the piece was you can't just go send it and expect people to buy it at any time, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was when APRA got real tight on the lending, I think in 2019.
Yeah.
And the market just went, and so I got stuck with a house for like a year.
Yeah.
And then it started getting a bad press because the market wasn't there and this, and I was just like, far out. And then that takes its toll on you. 3 or 4 other big projects underway at the same time. Having kids, raising a family at the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a baptism of fire. But you just, it's character building, right? That's what stress is these days. That's what I start to call it this year. It's character building. It's character building.
So mate, you've continued to. So are you still looking for those types of projects now? But you've obviously, you were saying before, your family's got 15 odd different companies, so you're involved in lots of different things. But are you going to continue to set that bar in that luxury home market?
Yes, but not residential.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of main things to work on at the moment. Well, I get over things a bit quick, which is probably bad. You build this company and this thing and build it all the way out. Whereas, the Zephyr stuff we're doing, it probably won't be Zephyr for much longer. It's going to be something else. Yeah. And I think a lot of people do get attached to a brand or a name for some reason. Like the way I see it as a vehicle that you use for the certain thing you're doing. Yes, for certain things, you build a company over 40 years, or if it's your name for example, and you continue to do that work. But I kind of felt I've been there, done that for the high-end resi, and the main reason being there's too many factors out of your control. Like I said, with interest rates rising or COVID or supply shortages and everything that everyone's been dealing with, it's too difficult to pick the timing right for things that are out of your control. You can build the best thing on the planet, doesn't mean someone's going to buy it, right?
Yeah.
So
have you had any tricky situations where apart from that one, where people haven't come through, or you've been stuck with it for longer?
Yeah. And having to sell your personal home just to keep the boys in work. We're in our house we're going to stay in now with our family, but my young fella Bo, the house we're in now, it was the 5th house he'd lived in. He was 3, just turned 3.
So it's even just that, people don't understand that sort of stuff. Like you've just said, sold your family home to keep the business going.
Yeah, I got mouths to feed, right?
Yeah, so. You don't get to where you are without sacrifice, do you? It's not all roses.
No, definitely not. It's not at all. I look at it and go, it makes me tired thinking back on it. But most people go, oh wow, you must be so proud of it. It's like, oh yeah. Yeah. You kind of just feel exhausted looking at the house that you built. But, we built some pretty cool stuff, so.
Yeah, mate, I'd definitely be proud. The houses you build around Brisbane, like I said, I take my hat off to you. Building is a hard job, let alone taking on some of the sites and the risks that you have. And then you don't just stop at building an incredible home. You go and throw all the technology in it and all the extravagant finishes and things.
When you're doing something different, you got to push the limits and the boundaries, right? They've got to be warranted. But when you're building a $10 million house, it's got to have everything, right? So we imported sliding doors from Switzerland that are electric that now a few other people are doing. But you've also got to try and draw the line on what people want. So it's because you're building it to sell. It's not going to appeal to everyone, but you got to make it appealing enough that people could put their own taste to it. So it's a fine line to tread.
So what's your inspiration? You mentioned before that you saw some of the way they were doing it in the States and selling it with maids and cars and things. Do you think outside the box and you look at what's happening around the world and think, hey, I'm going to do that in Brisbane? Because seriously, the little bit that I've seen and I know of you, I believe you've helped just drive the whole luxury bar in Brisbane. Like,
Yeah, so everyone that's getting really good prices, thanks. After I've sold all mine, so
like, there's a lot of builders
that's the
around.
thing. Good. It's just you got to like set precedents for things to happen, and then now there's heaps of other builders doing the same stuff in the same area, and it's good. And I like it because it just makes the whole area look
Yeah.
a million times better.
Yeah.
It brings up the value of the nice product everyone's building. So
Yeah.
But for inspiration, I personally, the physical building stuff of it isn't really my thing anymore. Like I've just got too much going on, really. But I love the creative process of acquiring a site, looking at a site. It's like this, cool. How can we make it work? How big a hole can we dig?
Yeah. Yeah. So do you get involved in the design? Like you sit with the
Everything.
architects and
I draw all the plans to scale myself.
Yeah.
I'll draw it 10 times and give it to him or whoever I'm using. Let them do their spin, give them a brief, and then normally get out the red pen and go nuts on it again and give it back to them until you get happy with it. And
yeah.
and then show it around to a lot of people I know. Go, what do you think about this? What would you move here?
Yeah.
People that would buy that home that I know would go, hey, what do you think about this? What would you change if it was yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, try and
So
get it.
it's not a simple process, but you're by doing that, I guess you're able to make more educated decisions.
Yeah, and it's a growth process. It's like anything. Each job, each house gets refined even better and better. And that's why I like to do a bit different house each time, because I always like to do a different set of stairs on every job. I don't know why, it just comes down to that. But I don't think I've ever done, I might have done one or two with the same set of main stairs that go up in a house, for example, just to try and keep things different.
Yeah.
And it's a new challenge each time.
Yeah, well, it creates growth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like you're learning every job.
You get bored too quick otherwise.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I'm the same. You've got to keep challenging yourself.
Yep.
But like what you're talking about, like builders and trade, like they can apply this to any level of project, can't they? Like
definitely.
It's like, don't just, like whether you're working for a client or trying to do your own developments, like always try and just raise your bar every job you do. Improve your standards, improve the materials you're using, the quality of your work and all those types of things, because that's what's going to keep you motivated to keep going, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. You got to, and once you finish your job, you got to assess it, sit down. Okay, what do we do here? What do we do wrong? How come this took so long? How can we sharpen this up? But it is also hard when you're not doing the same project each time.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of, like, this house costs way more than that for certain reasons. But yeah, it's just you got to evolve as you go.
Yeah.
And then just fine tune it.
Data's huge, eh? Like I think there's like we've got a software business, Quoties, that's slowly growing, but our whole aim with that is to just allow builders a far better platform to do all their quantity surveying, estimating, all those types of things, but also building into it at the end of the job where they can use it to, like, whether it's export a CSV file into their accounting software or whatever, but you've got to do reviews at the end of jobs, don't you? Like, you have to examine what you allowed and what it ended up. Otherwise, you're going to keep doing jobs over and over again and losing money.
Sometimes I don't like to go, ugh. But yes, you have to. You're definitely right. And like, I wish that that software was around 10 years ago when I started. It would have saved me a hell of a lot of money and mistakes.
Yeah, like how do you go? You were they Skyframe doors that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Because we used Skyframe doors in a house out at Brookfield nearly 10 years ago. It was the first time, they weren't electric back then. It was the first time Skyframe doors had been bought in, and like there was so much backwards and forwards with the company, and we thought we had the shipping right, and we thought we had the delivery right, and then they sent 2 installers over, and it was a big deal.
For us. Yeah.
And I remember sitting back at the end of that job and going, fuck, like we couldn't have put any more effort into that, and we still went, like, I think we went over like $17,000 or something, and that was 10 years ago. But it's how do you go, like, because I imagine those doors on that house were like, what's those sets of doors worth these days? A couple $100,000?
I think it was about 180 grand for 3 doors.
Yeah.
That was for us to buy it. Yeah. And then we had a tower crane on site for that job, so it was real windy the day we were lifting all the panels up, and had to have this sucker that boomed out off the balcony, 40 metres off the ground. And I'm watching, I actually went, I gotta go. I just left. I was like, you guys will be right. Please don't break the glass. Yeah. But no, it was all sweet and it all works fine, and got there in the end. But it's funny at the time, you're just like, oh, but then looking back, you're like, oh
yeah. Yeah. So, like, you'd have multiple, like, how have you gone the last couple of years with like, do you import stuff regularly, or do you try and use stuff locally, or is
No.
that part of you pushing the limits and trying to set new bars?
Well, a lot of stuff is local these days. You don't have to reach out too far. The world's a different place it was 10 years ago. Everything's quite accessible. We can buy stuff online ourselves and get it shipped to you within a week. So,
Yeah.
no, I haven't really had to resource stuff. For other businesses, we've been to China and, we've got people manufacturing us for stuff over there, but not for the Zephyr Resi stuff, no.
Yeah. So, mate, can we talk a little bit about, like, you're like, I can't get over how many things you're involved in. So
it sounds like a lot, but there's a lot of moving parts behind it. We've got a lot of good people and a lot of good teams, and just shareholders are involved or help push certain things certain way. I'm not like figureheading everything I'm involved in at all.
Yeah.
We just use my skills to help good people get the product and the result that we all want.
Yeah. But what's allowed you to get in that mindset of expanding and getting in these positions where you oversee things and you're growing into other areas? Like, are you influenced, like you said before, you tend to hang around older people that have done well. Like, I'm a big believer in that as well. But like, what about business groups or mentoring, coaching, that sort of thing? Yeah,
so a couple of mutual friends of ours, I'm in a business group. With them, we catch up every quarter, and go away once a year, which is really good. And everyone's from a different industry. So I actually got asked to speak at one of their lunches, and I didn't have no idea what it was. And I just put up a little video of the houses we did and took some pamphlets. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing, this and that. And then they were like, "Oh, do you want to be? You got a unanimous vote to join this group." I was like, "Okay, cool, thanks." I only knew like one or two people vaguely. I didn't really know anyone, and I thought it was really nice. Most of them are 40 to 50 years old and quite very successful. Like, some of the guys have had 3,000 employees in mining companies, and they were very successful people. But the best part is most of the people like that are just, like yourself, just a knockabout bloke. Here you go. And then there's no stigma with, you wouldn't have a clue what they're worth at all, which is the best part.
But you get so much from talking to other people, don't you? And like, sometimes, like, I think sometimes you learn so much just by listening. Like, you take it all in and you interpret in your own way, and you might have a conversation or go to a meeting that goes for hours, but like, there might be just one line in there that is that gold nugget, and you think, like, shit, that's awesome, I'm going to run with that.
I think the cool part about when you've got a lot of successful people from different industries, lawyers, doctors, mining people, tech people, like you're saying, you talk to them and then you hear something and you go, "Oh, how could I relate that to my business model, or what could I tweak to make it work?" So yeah, it is good.
Yeah.
And that's what gets you like a bit excited and gives you a bit more drive. To do the stuff that, you would do, you got to have a lot of drive.
Yeah.
If you don't, you can't be a chore to go do it. You got to be passionate about what you're doing. That's the main thing.
So you're very driven, mate. Like, you get up every morning ready to go. Like, what are we going to do
honestly,
today?
The last year or two has been a lot harder. Just, mentally draining with everything going on in the building industry. Last year I was a bit stuck because I wasn't sure which way we were going to go. I didn't want to do any more resi, and it's funny how the harder you look, the less stuff you find, and then all of a sudden, towards the end of last year, all this stuff clicked into place. So yeah, we've got some really big projects coming up, which is exciting. But
houses?
No, so we've got a new company called View Estates. So we've got one block up in Montville. We're looking to do like an eco cabin resort. With a restaurant, cellar door, winery.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just designing that at the moment, and we're looking at a few other blocks in different regions as well, and do weddings, functions, things like that.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I learned from just doing developments was the cash flow issues. There's peaks and valleys, not getting paid for 2 years and then getting a sugar hit when you sell a house. I mean, it's just all gone. And trying to keep the flow of jobs and money to your staff, and that was the hardest part. So anything I do moving forward has got to be a cash flow job.
Yeah.
Cash flow, or cash flow business, or a business you can sell.
Yeah.
So if I stop Zephyr, everything stops.
Yeah.
It just backs up. There's no sale of the business. You can't sell it if I stop doing everything. It stops. So I think that's a massive thing for most builders out there, that if you can find a way to do it where you can have a cash flow business, whether it's building for clients or another maintenance business. So I've seen a few other guys doing these days, which I think is really smart.
Yeah.
Set up a crew that, goes as maintenance for other builders.
It's like, to me, that's a no-brainer. Like, you're building the house. Like, that is an on-sale. It's like an air conditioning company doing a service. Like, you're exactly building a house. Come up with a maintenance.
Come up with any other idea you can to have some cash flow on the side. Like, because when it does turn to shit, you've still got some money coming in the door, which I didn't. And that was really big learning curve.
Yeah. So, like, mate, do you, like, because a pretty powerful thing that comes up on a lot of podcasts we do, like, and I get vulnerable. I've told people I dealt with depression, anxiety and stuff. Like, it is a hard industry to be in. Like, have you had some struggles? Like,
Big time, especially in the last probably 2 years.
Yeah.
Pretty much when COVID hit, I was all so uncertain, had young kids, had a second kid, had houses that weren't selling. I'm just like, fuck. What are we doing now? But yeah, look, I did reach out for help as well a few times. Like I started seeing a psychologist lady, like a business coach, psychologist, kind of both. I was like, I'll just pick their brain and see what they said. And it was interesting. After seeing her a few times, it opened up a whole bunch of stuff like subconsciously I didn't know about. I was like, well, why am I acting like this? Why am I getting triggered by these things? And once I was aware of it, it's like, it's like a weight off your chest.
Yeah.
So I sought a bit of help to just help myself out. Why am I feeling like this? Why am I, why are these things getting to me so much? And all of that, and the pressures of life. And yeah, that was a massive change for me. If I could recommend anything, I'd recommend, if you are feeling like that, go reach out for someone like that can, because once I was aware of why I was thinking that I was and how I actually worked, I was like, oh, it's just that thing again. Next.
Yeah.
You overcome that feeling very quick.
Yeah.
Well, it took a lot of time.
That is unreal, mate. Because so many, we all get caught up in the busyness of life, and it can be quite difficult just to know, like, shit, I actually need to talk to someone outside my circle, outside my family. And I've got a few other good builder mates that I talk to regularly because we're all going through the same shit. And that's why I like what you're doing with all this, helping all the other builders out. Everyone should be helping each other. There's plenty of work. Yeah. That's my thing, mate. Every builder.
Mates with heaps of builders, and we always talk and stuff like that. And
we've done some surveys in Live Life Build business, and so my business partner Live Life Build's Amelia Lee, undercover architect. So like she deals with hundreds of thousands of homeowners, and like we've done some surveys and things, and like there's actually hundreds of thousands of people out there that want to build, they want to renovate, they've got money to spend, but they're scared. They're scared that the builder's not going to do the right thing, the builder's not going to look after them. So if builders all speak openly about things, help each other out, start running better businesses, like there's a lot of work around now, but there's even more work that can come. So like, and a lot of, when you think about it, like a lot of builders are smaller custom builders, and they are only doing possibly even one, maybe two, 3, 4, 5 jobs a year. If every single one of those builders ran a better business, looked after their clients better, like they could literally double the size of their business overnight.
For sure. And like what you said before, you were saying that building that software program, like, you're a chippy, you go get builder's license. Yeah, I got my license. And then, okay, I'm going to be a builder. I'm going to go quote a job. You're just winging it. Like, you don't know anything about accounting. I taught myself how to do my own bookwork at the start. Yeah. Just because I got burnt by a bookkeeper. Yeah. I wasn't doing it right, and I taught myself how to do it. Like, having the resources that you're providing is just amazing because, it teaches everyone from the start. Yeah. And those mistakes can cost a lot of money. Yeah. Like, a lot of money.
Yeah. It's like, what do you think is more important, mate? Like, I've definitely changed my view. Like, do you think it's more important being a good builder, or do you think it's more important putting time and energy into yourself so that you can see the world and open your mindset and see things in a different view?
You need to do both.
Yeah.
I found that I was just work 24/7. I was bringing work home. Like, no, to the missus at the kitchen table. She's just like, just chill out.
Yeah.
But you do need to separate it. Like, it's all, because like my whole thing when I started was work, and I used to work 80 hours a week. I was an apprentice. I was the first one there, locking up, last one leaving. And I just got it belted into me. It's just all you did. And then I kind of, realised once you have kids and things like that, it's like, hey, I don't even remember what you looked like a year ago. You're two already, shit. You got to have that separation. Yeah. And then that's also got to relax you a bit, and you've got to find something. That's actually why the mini racing has been so good that last year, because it was you're doing 200 k's an hour and you're braking at the 100-meter mark into a right-hand corner. You're not thinking about much else, as you know when you were there. And that was a really, really good release too, especially like, you get it, you're away, but then some of the tracks your family comes for the day, which is great, but you're just not thinking about anything else. I think it's a big thing. You got to separate work from home, sorry, and then also find something outside that's completely out of it that distracts you from it. Like I used to surf a lot, but I've had a few personal injuries in the last few years, and I used to work out a lot as well, but I've just been a bit struggling with pain and things like that, so that also hasn't helped. But having the mini racing's been unreal.
Yeah,
it's just a whole nother thing, and you get a toy you can play with.
I think like I'm not a big sporting person. I like things with motors in. Like growing up, it was always into motocross and or motorbikes and cars. I love my drag racing and like exactly like you said, like the mini racing is no different to going fanging a trail bike through the bush. Like that whole time, whether it's like with the minis, whatever we're doing, 10, 20 laps, like for that 10, 20 laps, you are not thinking about anything at all. You're just purely focused on trying to go fast and overtake the bloke in front of you. And even though people might think that's quite stressful, you get out of the car actually feeling like quite good. Yeah, I do anyway.
Yeah, no, it is. It's awesome. It's a challenge. You gotta be challenged, not all the time, and pick your challenges. But I find it a really, really good challenge because I'm like yourself. I didn't really play rugby or soccer that much. I used to race downhill mountain biking and I surf, so kind of individual sports. So that's why I found motor racing to be really good, because if I stuff up, it's on me, or if someone bumps into you. But or the car blows up. But again, it's that you need that release as well, whatever it is that But then sometimes it's hard to find. I didn't have anything for ages, and you kind of get a bit annoyed, and but you find something one day.
And that's right, eh? Like you don't have to. Like that's a big thing for me now, like because we all like there's all this marketing, especially with social media these days. Like everyone's giving you all these ideas, saying you've got to do this, you've got to do that. Come find this, come and have a go at this. Yeah, and exactly what you said. Like you have to find something that works for you.
Yep.
Like there's no one size fits all. Your thing might be bloody.
Bird watching, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Like whatever floats your boat. And you need to do it, and even in spending time away from the family, whether it's one night here or there, that also helps. I think it gives, like, we go away like 2 weekends a year or something. Like going away there is completely different to going away on a holiday with young kids and a family. I think it's a good thing to have those 1 or 2 nights here and there away, because you come home and you appreciate it. It's like a refresh kind of thing as well. So
it's a reset.
Yeah, for sure.
Something that I never ever thought I would have been interested in, but like one of our mutual friends, Trent, like he turned up at one of my jobs one day and said, "Hey, I'm going to Everest," and like I had to think for a minute, like, "Where's the hell's Everest? What are you talking about?"
You mean like that really big hill?
And and he's like, "Oh, I need something to commit to," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'm the same." I was like, "Send me the details," and he emailed me the details and said, "Oh, you got 2 weeks to make a decision." So it was the best thing I ever did, because it wasn't only, like, the trip was amazing, but it was actually the camaraderie, because I'm like you, I was into my mountain biking and motorbikes and things, and all single person sports. And so the camaraderie in the training we did before we went to that was really big for me. Like it was the first time I'd committed to catching up with a group like every Saturday and just walking. Like I never thought I would have enjoyed walking, but like just being able to talk with like-minded people, chill out, go for a walk.
It's a long walk.
So plenty of time to talk. Oh mate, it changed my life, that walk. Like we did Everest. We went to base camp. I didn't think I would want to go back there, but I have sort of been questioning myself recently, thinking like maybe I do want to go to the top. But since then, like we're always in contact and saying like, what's the next mission? What's the next thing we're doing to push ourselves? And we've just literally in the last few days locked in a 3-day expedition in the snowy mountains, buddy, walking in minimal clothing in the snow. So we'll see how that pans out.
It's not too cold yet, is it? You might be all right.
No, we're doing it in June. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but have fun with that. Pick your challenges, I think. But look.
So, but like for me, it's done a lot of good, just me pushing myself and getting out of my comfort zone.
I find if you're comfy, there's something wrong.
Yeah. Like, if you're comfortable, you generally start going backwards,
You go
don't you?
nuts.
Yeah.
You get like last year I was a little bit quiet there, and I was just like, I was actually going nuts.
Yeah.
Just yeah, I don't know. It depends on the person, I suppose, as well, right? Like yourself, it's just always go, go, go most of the time, and when you stop, it's really hard to adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your signs when you're getting comfortable? Like, what's something that you think, holy shit, like I need to get going again?
It's like you said, planning that trip. You need something to always have in front of you. Like, I found that, you know, I wanted to build all these houses, and we did it, and you get to the end of the house, and it's like, yay, now what? If you don't have another one or something else to sink your teeth into, or something else that you're passionate about that you want to go do, whether it is hiking or work or whatever, it's like people think, oh, you make it. And it's like, well, you get to that point and you got to, one thing I really started to try and do is, I'm still trying to do it, and it's so difficult, is just enjoy the process and the journey of life as you go. You need to, because, you know, you wake up, you're going to be 50 like that, and yeah, you've conquered the world and done whatever you wanted to do, but you don't remember any of it, and you're pretty tired.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
Like a couple of mentors that I do a lot with, they like have drilled into me probably in the last 12 months, like, if you're not happy with where you are now, why do you think you're going to be happy with where you're trying to get to?
Yeah, you can have a whole bunch of shit that does not make you happier.
Yeah. So you've got to enjoy where you are now, and when you enjoy where you are now, and it's so true. Like I used to have some pretty big goals, and the same thing. Like I would get there, and I'm like, well, like where's the party? Like where's
exactly?
What's going
and then
on?
they're doing it all by yourself most of the time, and you're like, pat yourself on the back, like no one else will.
Yeah.
Or like you sell something or do a job and make really good money out of it, and you know it's just a number in the bank account, right? Most of the time it disappears straight away anyway. But
yeah,
you know,
so you've got to enjoy
the ride.
Yeah, and
that's, I think it's a very hard thing to do.
It is,
because you got to teach yourself to be adjusted with the highs and lows, and I still struggle with it. Like I get triggered by everything so quick. And it's like, no.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Just the general life stuff, or something doesn't go right, or someone stuffs something up, or you know, just everyday things that set you off. And I think as you get older, you get more used to it, more tolerant. But just not reacting to everything. Just just don't react, respond.
Yeah.
I think that's a big one.
There's always a solution.
Yeah, I mean, every time you look back, you're like, oh yeah. Even though it was the end of the world at the time, think it's the apocalypse or something, and then you're like, oh, I'm still breathing. So.
Yeah, it didn't really end up as bad as
I wouldn't do it again, but I'm all right.
Yeah. So, mate, tell us a little bit about this. Look, I was like I said, I was quite nervous with you coming to this podcast, because I do, like, I mean it when I take my hat off to you. Like, we've built what I thought was some pretty difficult homes over the years, and then you see that is it Noah?
Yeah, like in French.
But and then is it Isle, and what is it?
Isle and Soror, yeah, the last two we did.
Man, like the earthworks and the retaining walls, and
even like I said, you know, I grew up with that. I've dug almost every those two jobs are the only jobs I didn't physically dig myself in the machine, because we own a few bit of plant and equipment, but you're just having the experience.
Yeah.
You know, for any other younger builders out there, go find yourself a really good builder and stick to the good form and like glue. Even if he treats you like shit, doesn't matter. Just learn.
That's another gold nugget.
You need to learn from someone good, which I did, and he kicked my ass, and I hated him at the time. But I was also very thankful for him now, because I wouldn't know what I know if I didn't get my head belted.
Do you think? We're going to go in another direction now, but do you think that's important? Because I feel that the younger people coming through, like, we're definitely finding it harder and harder to find an apprentice that wants to put in effort.
It's hard,
and you literally look at them the wrong way, and they've had enough. Oh yeah, no, I can't handle that. Like,
I think a main thing is that one, they think that you can make it an easy way. I feel like I'm just on that cusp of my age. Like, you know, I'm 34 this year, but I was just on the cusp where an iPhone came out when I'd finished school. You know, we still talk to people face to face, and I've noticed, because we just had 3 apprentices signed off. They were about 22, and one was even younger than that. And they were really good boys. They were very, very liable, cared about their work, which we also, you know, knock into them a fair bit. But yeah, trying to find anyone else, like, God, you go through hundreds of people these days, and it's too hard. They don't want to do it. And you got to realize that the hard stuff is what makes you who you are.
Yeah.
Um,
But you don't. It doesn't mean you have to
no, you don't
kick
go,
them up the arse and
well, you
treat
don't
them
have
like
to
shit.
dig
but
holes for 5 years. Like, you know, you just, it's,
you've
it's,
got to
and
do hard
life's
work to get through life.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty simple. Nothing's ever going to be easy. But I
No.
think it gets exaggerated in our industry, like especially as a builder, because like I know with my team, some of my older guys, like I believe I've got craftsmen. Like some
Yep.
of the people that work for me, they're just insane. The quality of work and the effort, like they're that 1% that everyone's sort of
Yep.
looking for. And I think every builder's got one of them or a couple of them. But
You're lucky if you do.
but and so they put so much pressure on themselves when younger people come into the team or a carpenter comes into the team that doesn't quite know what they feel he should know. And a lot of them take it personally, and then it puts more stress and anxiety on them, and then they take it out by, I guess, getting angry or getting the shits that they're stuffing something up or cutting it wrong. Because in building, like something cut wrong can be like thousands of dollars, or a set out done wrong can be tens of thousands of dollars. Like,
Exactly.
there's a lot of pressure on everyone, and I think it's
hard because not every carpenter's a teacher.
Yeah.
Being a teacher is a hard thing. You got to learn to be a teacher. I had to. I used to rant and rave initially and go nuts, but I learned that it doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think that's really important.
Yeah.
Man, you're dropping gold nuggets everywhere.
it's a school of hard knocks, I think. But no, one thing I have really realised is with the younger generation, it's this instant gratification. Like, we used to have to wait till Sunday at 6:30 to watch the show we wanted to watch and wait for the ads to go through and tape it and rewind the tape. They're like, what's a tape? How do you rewind it? It's the whole smartphone thing is this instant gratification. I'm the dopamine now. And I think it's a bit of a scary thing. Like, I'm generalizing a fair bit, but, I always think about my kids now. What's it going to be like in, 15 years time when they're in the workforce? And it's a bit worrying. There's this whole generation of, like, you go get a new apprentice on and they want to, you're doing footings, only doing footings for a week or whatever. And they're out of there the second day. Oh, this is too hard.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to be doing the slab the next week and we're framing the week after that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So that's too long away. So I think that's a massive shift of why. It is like, I am generalising. There's definitely a lot of good young kids out there still, but it is harder for us to find them, for sure.
Mate, I remember we had this young kid once come and had a go, and he was a great kid, but we were doing this house over at Duayne on a 43-degree slope, and there was a certain part, like we cut some pads in, had literally three excavators loading to each other, but there was one part where we needed to get a bit of plumbing, and it was all rock, and like literally for a day, and it was the first day this guy started.
Put him on the jackhammer.
He's on the jackhammer and the shovel, and he never showed up the next morning, and I was like, mate, what's going on? He's like, oh, look, you should have machines for that shit. Like, I'm not digging holes and getting on a jackhammer. And I'm like, well,
man, I'm still digging holes. So.
Yeah, mate, and that's
you still get in and got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I said that to apprentices in the last job. I'm still digging holes with you, mate. Cleaning footings out, so I don't think it gets too much better.
Yeah, well, I think to me now that says a lot about. We had this incredible kid, which it's actually a shame he started dealing with some depression, and anxiety and stuff, and he pulled the pin, which I'd love him to come back, but. Mate, the first week he started, we were doing piers. It was pissing down rain all week, and like he was literally laying down his guts halfway in the hole, like getting water, getting mud out. And I'm like, mate, you're a keeper. Like,
you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, we'll hang on to you.
Look, you don't have to do this for too much longer.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Yeah, but mate, tell us a little bit about, because you're slowing the building down a little bit, and like I was quite interested to hear that you're also in hospitality, like. And so is that a passion that's come back because you were doing that sort of training when you were younger? Or?
I didn't know what I wanted to do when I finished school, like most kids. And I've always been interested in hospitality, the hospitality scene. So an opportunity came around about 4 or 5 years ago now. It was actually my cousin's idea. There's a restaurant we've got in Wandoo Street in the Valley called City Winery. So it's, and I was a bit intrigued, and, they were trying to do it without any money. So I'm one of the shareholders of that, and so we did the fit out for them at like cost price. They gave us a shareholding, and so it's a really cool philosophy, like nose to tail, all local produce. Like it's everywhere now, but 5 years ago it was a bit different. So I actually built if you look on their website, everything's cooked over flame. So there's a big, I think it's like 4 meter long hearth, custom hearth we built with fire bricks and that.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool designing that, and Yeah, so I did this restaurant fit out, and then that's been going. They did their own thing for a fair while, for a few years, had a few more venues, and we've got some smaller venues that we've just started to repurpose. We've rebranded them called Ardos. So they're a wine bar with tapasy style food. So it was actually the general manager's idea. He goes, "Oh, this is a cool business idea," and we're like, "Well, let's do it." Because the numbers stack up, but like doing one doesn't when you do 5 to 10, and it's a pretty good business model because we actually make our own wine as well through City Winery at our shed at Virginia. You know, we've got couple 100,000 bottles of wine there of stock. I mean, I'm going down for vintage in a month's time down the Barossa and going picking grapes with them and checking it out and just learning heaps of different stuff. You're exposed to so many different things and it's so cool. Yeah. And you learn like how does a bottle of wine get made? Yeah. Most people don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue.
And so we actually make it down there, bring it up in like 1,000-litre bladders or goon bags, like with the forklift. And then we've got all French oak barrels there at this factory, built a massive big cold room, driving with the forklift. And so we actually age it there at our factory, bottle it, label it, package it, dispatch. Yeah. So yeah, that's a really cool part of the business that it's just interesting.
I was going to say, man, I think it's just so interesting that you like. The older I get, I guess, and I think the more I learn, the more I talk to people. Like, I love knowing how shit happens. Yeah. Like, it keeps me motivated and interested.
Being a builder, you're always so hands-on and doing everything, and that's how you learn. And you're in there stomping, like picking grapes. So this is cool. Yeah. You don't need to know absolutely everything of everything, but it's more interesting stuff. So we'll probably do about 5 of them before June. We just did the other one. We renovated the other one, like I said. We've got a few more coming up. So that's one business, and then
So you're using your building skills, but to improve these other businesses.
I think a lot of people and builders go, "Oh, I'm a resi builder. That's it," or "I'm go from resi to doing units." Like, there's a bit of I don't know if it's a concept or stigma, but like, being a builder is such a good grounding base for everything. Yeah. Like whether you go.
Well, everybody has to build.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what business you have.
Everyone needs a roof over their head. Yeah. Or a shop to do, like from doing shop fit outs to commercial construction to resi builds. Like, do a bit of everything. Find what you like doing. That's why some people do a bit of everything and find what they like, and then they only do shop fitting. Yeah. Which is probably one of the harder things to do logistically.
But everyone needs a builder. Like, it doesn't matter what. Like, if you're a cook or you have a restaurant, you need a building or a fit out. Like, if you want to do ecotourism, you need buildings or huts. Like, you want to do developing, you need someone doing that. Like,
that's why it's such a good skill set to have. Because when you do eventually branch out to different things, you're the person everyone needs almost, especially at the start. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's cool.
So mate, building, hospitality, getting into a bit of tourism and weddings, and
that's a long play. We'd like to get it's 10-20 year plan. Just do a couple of one or two, maybe two each year, all around, possibly Australia, go overseas.
Yeah. Are you a goal setter, mate? Do you write goals down? Have a journal?
No, I don't journal. I tried that. Got bored. I've kept forgetting to do it. I don't know. My head's
what's your thing? Like, what's your thing? Like, you've come a long way in a short period of time. So, like, what's your thing?
Push the boundaries. What's next? What isn't someone doing? Find the niche. You've got to find the niche. Or it doesn't have to be a niche. It could just be a little bit different way of someone doing something, and let someone be the first to do it. Cool. Yeah. Amazon wasn't the first packaged all shop delivery company. Yeah. They were fourth or fifth. And they learn from other people's mistakes too. So that's what I'm trying to start to do, is also be surrounded by good people, get a really good broad knowledge base of different things, and you just got to be passionate about what you're doing.
How often do you talk to, like, get advice or just run ideas by people? Like, is it daily, weekly? Like,
depends what you're doing. No, not overly often, Yeah. I'll always try and figure something out myself. If I've got a problem or something, I'll figure out 3 different solutions if I can, and go to that person with solutions. Like, what it's like, I've got something wrong. What do I do? Figure it out. That's the last thing they want to hear, especially some smart person that's very time poor. Yeah. Go, have you got 5 minutes? I've got this problem. These are my solutions, and they might see something different. Yeah. So, it depends what it is, mate. Like, I'm not calling people every day. Whether it could be once a month, once a year. So just depends what's happening.
And do you have anything else you do besides that business group that you catch up every quarter? Like, is there a small group, or I think it's before you said you got a group of builder mates that you sort of bounce some ideas around here and there? But
yeah, with the future stuff we've got coming up, I've got another mate, Benny, who we're teaming up. Starting a new construction company, so we'll be building our own facilities throughout. He's doing resi stuff as well. He's just had a gutful. Yeah. but I think it's a good thing we've both got the same skill sets, but like I'm bringing a whole lot of hospitality knowledge to certain things. So, and just pivoting on what we wrote down on whiteboards last year when we both had enough. Like, okay, what is every single part of building that we hate? Okay, we're gonna have to keep building, but how can we do it without these things we really dislike? Obviously, you're gonna have to do things you don't like, but just limiting factors that have been so troubling for us.
Can you tell us what some of that, like one or two of those things?
Oh, just dealing with clients, or the weather, or COVID, or supply issues and things like, and also cash flow issues. So building a business that we retain. If something goes wrong, we just go fix it. We're not getting calls on Sunday night at 8 o'clock going, my thing is leaking. It's like, well, just call me in the morning. I can't do anything about it now, right?
Yeah.
Because that happens to all of us. But by limiting those things and putting buffers and systems in place and good management, just trying to pivot away, but still also be like, hey, let's do the cool, find a site, be creative. How can we do this and design it? And also getting sites that, we can value add later and do basic bit, cool. Wait till it start making some money. Okay, cool. We're going to put a house down the bottom now. We're going to put some glamping there or something like that. So, it's cool.
I love it, mate. We're doing some pretty similar things. So, mate, thanks very much for jumping in this afternoon. It's been an awesome time having a chat to you. It's been really good to get some insight into it. Like you've touched on, like everyone just sees the glitz and the glamour and the finished projects, and they don't realise all the hard work. Like hearing your story, how you got into the industry and like didn't know what you're going to do. Like I think that's gold for people out there that even maybe 10, 20 years into their career and still not knowing what or how they want to achieve their goals. But
sure.
It's all it all takes time, and sometimes you got to, I guess, think outside the box to make things happen. So
for sure.
Thanks very much for coming in, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. If we'll put some links so you can go and check Zephyr's stuff out because it is definitely inspiring. And look, as always, hit the subscribe button. If you like what we do, let us know. And if you've got any questions, shout out. As usual, we're always here to help. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Everything discussed during the Level Up podcast with me, Duayne Pearce, is based solely on my own personal experiences and those experiences of my guests. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. We recommend that you obtain your own professional advice in respect to the topics discussed during this podcast.